Dear friends, I'd like to share a few thoughts with you about what we spoke about yesterday in our Kehillah, between having taken shelter together due to incoming missiles from Iran. We spoke about how once again we find ourselves in the eye of the storm. In light of this war, people tend to zoom out in order to see the bigger international picture by looking at the security situation like a chess game between world powers of the USA against China and Russia, with the control of oil and the dollar at the heart of the conflict, with the aim to hurt one power and prevent them from getting stronger. Without a doubt, Iran plays a central role in global energy markets, especially in connection with China and Russia. That's why Iran launches attacks towards the Gulf states and intentionally hits gas and oil companies. Nothing new under the sun. We can go back in time to the days of the Bible and see that Israel was always stuck between the conflicts of world powers, such as Egypt and Mesopotamia. And yet, for us, this war is very different from it just being a chess game. This isn't a war about oil, nor the value of dollar, but about our right to exist. Remember, Iran has invested huge amounts of money with one clear goal, and that is to wipe Israel off the map. October 7 was one of the poisonous fruits of Iran. Hezbollah is funded and depends on Iran. And Iran proudly states that the aim to destroy the state of Israel by the year 2040. We must understand that Israel plays a marginal role internationally. And she surely has very little influence on the value of the dollar or the price of oil. For Israel, this war is about the right to exist. The enemy truly and actively seeks our destruction, no less than the evil Haman in the book of Esther. This means that we should keep on praying as though our lives depend on it. And they surely depend on the mercy of God. At the same time, the IDF soldiers are entering Lebanon once again with its dangers. Our soldiers, which are children and spouses, are going in there. We truly are in need of miracles and the angels of God to guard our families, our homes, our country, and the state of Israel. However, along with all these miracles comes the danger of pride. We hear the praises of the American Secretary of Defense and the media praising the Israeli initiative, strength, and power. No. We only live by the power of miracles and the promises of God. This tiny country was established one miracle after another. And the fact is that we're even alive speaks of His wonders. All honor and all glory belong to our Heavenly Father. It's up to us to remind God again and again of His promises and to seek Him to have mercy on us, even if we don't deserve it. We stand before God like Moses and pray humbly while pleading. Remember Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, your servants, whom you swore by your own self, and said to them, I will multiply your descendants as the stars of heaven. And all this land that I have spoken of, I will give to your descendants, and they shall inherit it forever. Moses' plea follows right after one of the most painful biblical stories, where Moses breaks the tablets of the covenant, and the people of Israel make the golden calf. The golden calf becomes an international symbol of sin and rebellion against God, almost like the apple from the Garden of Eden. What was really happening there? Moses goes up to Mount Sinai for 40 days, which is nearly a month and a half. There is no sign of life at all. He didn't bring food or water, and people are asking, what happened to Moses? In hindsight, it is easy for us to judge. How could the people of Israel, how did they dare sin like that? I'm not justifying the sin here, but do remember, that's 40 days have passed. The leader who communicates with God is nowhere to be seen. What do we do now? Do we get up and leave? Or do we wait longer? How much longer? Another week, another month, a year? The people of Israel sin by making the statue of another god, which cuts the meeting between Moses and God short, after which God sends Moses back to the people. Because of this sin, God plans to destroy Israel and begin over with Moses. Sounds like quite flattering, to be honest. But Moses, just like Abraham, he chooses to plead with God. God, you brought the people of Israel out of Egypt with your mighty hand and an outstretched arm, with honor, with everyone to see that there is one God, that there is the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Now, if you destroy the people in the wilderness, what will the nations think? That you brought the people of Israel out to destroy them in the desert, in the wilderness? Moses adds, even if it's not for the people, then do it for our fathers, for your promises to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Moses manages to convince God. Then the Lord relented and did not bring on his people the disaster he had threatened. This is so amazing and powerful. I'm not sure that we are able to fully grasp the greatness of this turnaround. The Torah calls us to have a dialogue with God. We have the power to speak with God and even to cause him to change his mind or to act. In Luke chapter 18, Yeshua tells us the parable of the persistent widow, about a lonely and poor widow who had been wronged again and again. She turns to the judge for justice. At first, the judge sends her away. But the widow's story does not touch him. He is not sensitive. He does not have a special sense of justice. And he doesn't care for that pleading woman, that widow. He doesn't give her justice. But at the end, the judge gives in and judges her case. Yeshua's parable, the judge admits that it wasn't the widow's request, nor the sense of mercy or grace or the fear of God. Instead, the persistence of that widow made him realize that she would not rest and not give up her case, that she will just keep coming back every single day. And he gets tired of her nagging. And it would be easier for him to just act and be done with her. Through this parable, Yeshua teaches us that we should continue to pray persistently and that he will answer. We will get the answer, just like that judge answered the widow. If that judge answered that widow, how much more will God answer those who seek him, that pray to him? Our prayers should be just like that, ongoing, pleading with God, and not let God go until he answers, much like the parable. Then he spoke a parable to them that men always ought to pray and not lose heart. Isaiah chapter 62 says, "For Zion's sake I shall not keep silent, and for Jerusalem's sake I will not rest until her righteousness goes forth like a brightness and her salvation like a burning torch." He continues, "On your walls, O Jerusalem, I have appointed watchmen. all day and all night. They shall never keep silent. You who remind the Lord. These verses call on us to not stop praying for Jerusalem, not stop speaking about Jerusalem until the light of her righteousness and her salvation are visible for all to see. That is our task as believers. The ones who are faithful to the Lord and pray to Him are the watchmen on the walls of Jerusalem. We are called not to be silent day or night. Firstly, towards God, to not give Him rest by praying persistently and reminding Him of His promises and His prophecies about the restoration of Israel and Jerusalem. And secondly, we are called to break the circle of lies that are being spread about Israel, and instead to speak and to spread the righteousness and the light by the way we live out our faith. We should do these two tasks again and again and not let go until her righteousness goes forth like brightness and her salvation like a burning torch. And hold on to Yeshua's words, to always pray and not lose heart. Let's breach the gates of heaven, of our living God who hears our prayers. Join us in praying for Israel. Thank you.